the chemtrails agenda, spraying us with the nanotechnology. Related to transhumanism. That's what I get out of that. I can't translate. Chemtrails, the invasion of the smart dust. Nanotoxicity. Are nanoparticles in food and our environment the new health epidemic? Clips show the effects of living fibers being sprayed from the skies via aerosol all over our food and families. Smart dust is coming and it's evil. It's not coming, it's here.
Intelligent evil dust scattered everywhere like confetti in everything.
Smart dust turns the planet into a spy tracking universe. Morgellons and smart dust infect individuals to be tracked via cell towers. All this stuff is real.
It's not necessarily a situation where you're only seeing the fibers coming from the source. You can have the fibers come from any old place in your body. I mean, I remember having people talk about like seeing them in their eyes, like, you know, feeling like they have something in their eye, and then they look in the mirror and they see that there's like something that looks like one of these fibers in there.
And I mean, I had some people talk about how I had one person who said they were actually diagnosed by their dentist.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were these filaments coming out from in between their teeth on their gums. Mm-hmm. That's not normal. I had another person who said that her gynecologist found fibers coming out during a pelvic exam. Wow. And I had two people who said that their gastroenterologist found them on colonoscopy. So these are internal, right. You know, and in one case, the gastroenterologist was like, I've never seen anything like this.
The genetically altered Morgellons pathogen is being delivered by aerosol, genetically modified foods, water systems, vaccinations, and other inoculations. White House admits staging fake vaccination operation to gather DNA from the public. That's horrible that they're doing this stuff to us. The CIA had been using fake vaccination programs to acquire DNA samples in order to track down human targets for termination. Researcher links AI, geoengineering, smart dust, and Morgellons. We give you Harold Kautz-Vella from Germany.
Smart dust is a combination of self-assembling nanomachines and components who are brought into the biosphere, who accumulate within the human body, and assemble to working units within the human body.
For what reason?
Surveillance. Mm-hmm. They can, parts of the system are taking again, it's all about light within the cell system. They take out the light from the cells exchanged between the DNA strands and turn it into an electromagnetic signal, which is detectable via satellite and ground stations. So all they need is to kind of identify your DNA fingerprint, light fingerprint, with your name, and then they can watch you 24 hours a day.
So we are running a GPS system?
Yes, yeah. Basically. This is one part. The other part is if you reverse the system, you can take an electromagnetic signal, put it into this smart dust within the body, and it will produce light and will start influencing the light exchange within the DNA system. And this can touch basically all aspects of being a human creature. It goes into the emotional part, it goes into sexuality, it goes into thoughts, so you can mind control and sex control people. You don't even realize it, because everything feels natural. You don't realize you are infected by the smart dust. You don't realize that somebody is influencing you because you think it's you. And suddenly you feel anger and rage, and you start a revolution out of it, and you don't know that it's kind of CIA starting the next color revolution. Right. It is social engineering and technical engineering of our mind, and this meets together and is run by the same entities.
Yes.
This is part of the game, kind of. Many things that appear irrational to us like the discussion about genetic modified crop, the discussion about glyphosate by Monsanto, which is obviously poison as hell, and the state authorities just deny and do not do their duty to protect us from this. The opposite, we are stuffed up to here with these poisons. The way they talk about vaccinations and insist on putting mercury on top of the vaccines. And this is all part of this biological engineering, because not all the components can be sprayed, so they need certain other mechanisms to introduce certain components into our system to turn it into a biological environment that is accepting and growing these parts of the artificial biology that play a role in the self-assembling nanomachines. So it's a very, very complex thing, attacking from completely different sources where you wouldn't even have the idea to look for a connection. Like, how do you connect agriculture with intelligence communities, with smartness? How do you connect medical treatments, which are officially done to protect us from disease, with the interests of the intelligence community? People are doing this, messing around with our mind in a way that we are not able to put together the pictures anymore.
Our DNA may be under attack by the government and have a history of forced alteration. It definitely is. But the biggest weapon we have is our own conscious awareness and the ability to choose a different path. Remote control of brain activity with heated nanoparticles. Chemtrails, smart dust, how you are being transformed into a soulless NWO remote-controlled robot avatar without knowing. Literal smart dust opens your brain-computer pathway to spy on your brain. The system is officially called neural dust and works to monitor the brain from the inside. Once these particles are sent to the brain, it will be ultrasound that activates the system for full monitoring. This is an area of research that has also been looked at by DARPA as one of the future methods of mind control. Scientists hold secret meeting about creating synthetic human genomes. David Icke talks about chemtrails and nanotechnology.
I've talked to a lot of people with Morgellons. First of all, it started to appear when chemtrails started to appear and people began to notice them. People are finding forms of technology in their bodies. And when you look at the descriptions of the world that's coming from people like Ray Kurzweil, he's talking about intelligent AI in the form of intelligent technology of the kind we're talking about. And there's even a name for it now. They call it smart dust, because of course everything today is smart, because everything smart connects to everything else called smart. That's what it is. It's the creation of a smart grid with all these different expressions of it. And this is clearly what is coming down in chemtrails. And it's affecting not only the human body, it's affecting the environment. Nanobots will infuse all the matter around us with information. Rocks, trees, everything will become these intelligent creatures. What he's saying is that what they're going to do is infuse AI technology into the entirety of the environment. Well, how the hell are you going to do that except by dropping it from the sky? What we call Morgellons sufferers are people whose bodies are rejecting it. And as the body rejects it, they're having physical symptoms, and their stuff is coming out because the human immune system is trying to eject it. The end game is not only to connect the human mind to AI, but to create a completely different human being, to create a synthetic human being. This is why now they are talking publicly. about the development of a synthetic genome. And I would say this is so important. Whatever you see in the public arena in terms of technological development is light years behind what's happening in the shadows. This technology has been there for a long time because it's being handed over from non-human sources. It's moving so fast in terms of the AI takeover through the technological developments because they're not developments. It's coming out of projects that are run by DARPA, the technological development arm of the Pentagon, which works with organizations like the National Security Agency and the CIA to run Silicon Valley. The idea is to create a synthetic human. Now, here's the point. This synthetic human is not planned to be male or female, and it's not planned to have the ability to procreate. And this is the real reason for the explosion in transgender everywhere. Who is the biggest target of it? Children and the young. It's being done to prepare people for when they are adults to accept this no gender human. And that's what it's all a mind game. And it's unfolding in front of our eyes.
The military has been preparing itself for 40 years around these technologies, and if they have your DNA, they can connect people to the grids. They also use RF modulation through the power grids, but they are all connected through the HARP system. They can read a person's mind and their thoughts. They can even manipulate your memory system and induce non-real memories in your brain. What we have here is an agenda to control people without them understanding they are being controlled. Because the whole point is that nobody should understand that they're being victimized.
And this has always bothered me. People talk about skin. Oh, it's on the skin, it's in lesions, No, it's not on the skin. There is an initial point of invasion where these things get into the body. They then clearly spread and work their way all through the body. Remember, you have to magnify 450 times to see them. And then we're left with the issue. How deeply spread are they? We feel they're spread throughout the entire human body, from the heart to the lungs, the brain, and then, in my view, they eventually become so numerous that they end up at the skin, and the body tries to expel them through the skin. But to think that this is simply a skin disease, which is what people used to try to say, is a terrible injustice. It's not. This is a systemic, entire physiology.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. It's not a skin disease, and a lot of people still claim that it is or think that it is, which is really just a kind of, I don't think it's a malicious claim. I think it's just ignorance. This thing is through the entire body. I've had them come out of my hands, out of my leg, and I mean from deep within. They leave huge holes where they come out. It's just, they're all through the body. It's almost like you're just wired for sound. They're everywhere.
Well, we're wired for something. We don't know what. And we also suspect that they may be the cause of death. We don't know for sure. But if a heart, for example, becomes targeted by these fibers, and the fibers interrelate with the heart is an electrically stimulated, incredible, magnificent instrument, a pump, that these fibers could certainly interfere. Would they interfere on their own? Or, as we know, and we think without question, they are receiving units. They are also broadcasting units. We think there is a distinct potential of a two-way communication at some level between these Morgellons fibers and some kind of a central control, a matrix control arm, and we think that they may be wired through the cell phone system. We don't know for sure. Some are suggesting now that satellites can interrelate and interact with these Morgellons fibers. We can't prove it. But you know what we can prove? And we used to talk about this. Of the people who died that we knew in the Morgellons community, and there were a number of them, once they got very infected, they seemed to die. We could never get one of them autopsied.
Yes,
remember?
Isn't that I do, and I remember just being constantly amazed and stunned at how these things would happen when we would have someone that would die that was an unknown victim of this situation. And look, he split off, they went to the crematorium. I mean, just sometimes against family wishes.
Yes, against family wishes. Yeah, and we asked an appeal that just one person who dies leaves it in their will, perhaps, that they do not